Hi, friends. Welcome to another episode of Creating Things Together with me, James, and her, Christina.
Hola.
This is a podcast about creating things together. And we put out a new episode every Monday. And this was going to be a very special episode because we were going to have Abraham Lincoln as our guest today. I don't know if you knew that.
Did he back out?
He didn't back out. See, I learned this morning that he got shot.
James, that is not a funny joke.
And so he is not recovering right now.
Too soon.
We don't know exactly what his state is, so thoughts and prayers. But today we want to talk about
I can't believe you did that.
Too soon? Today we want to talk about 5-year travel goals. And this is going to be a very hypothetical. What are you laughing at?
I'm laughing at the fact that you made an assassination joke. I mean, we all know he's dead.
I was going to say.
But why did you rub salt in the wound?
I was going to say, I hear he had a medical emergency at a theater.
Gosh. We are very dark. We love dark humor. Dark humor is our vibe, and that's how we get through life.
Dark. The thing is in the world, on a daily basis, you hear a lot of comedians engage in dark humor. It's a popular thing. Is that light where it needs to be, by the way, in terms of luminance? Okay. You hear like a lot of dark humor in the comedy world, but if you bring that into like a daily situation, it can get a little bit tricky.
Yeah.
And whenever I'm in a daily situation, my mind wants to engage in dark humor.
Could you imagine saying that joke at like a game night with our friends, and they're like, James, we all know he's dead. It's not funny.
So it's like, do you lean into that, and do you go, all right, James is the dark humor guy, like you just got to deal with the repercussions, or do you like lighten it up?
Maybe that's why we don't get invited to things.
I feel awkward sometimes. I feel like I go way too dark. Like I'll say a joke and then I feel like it might be too much. But anyway, it's our podcast, so Abraham Lincoln assassination jokes. So we want to talk about 5-year travel goals today, and this is not going to be a rock solid 5-year goal. It's more like, what would be a fun way to travel over the next 5 years? What would be something that would be, it's semi-hypothetical in nature. It's just going to be a fun conversation about our travel aspirations and perspirations.
If you guys didn't know, if you guys don't watch our YouTube channel, which you should, links in the
Doodly-doo.
Little diddly dot. So our content is based around travel. So it's travel exploration content with a huge undertone of creativity. So we make really highly produced. What's a word? Is highly produced a word? Is highly a word? Highly is a word. Goodly.
It would be. Well, I'd just say well produced.
We make very
high quality in the production department.
We make very goodly produced videos
in the YouTube world, not like as compared to James Cameron or something of this sort, right? We're not like, we need a video where we're talking about the Titanic, so we have to get in a Russian submersible and go down to the Titanic and get actual footage like he did, which is so badass. But
we are very thoughtful with our content, so that's kind of
we know how to edit.
That's what all of this has the undertone of. We like to travel, adventure, create. So James told me this podcast topic, and I was like, I can't talk dude. I don't even know what I'm doing 6 months from now. Where are we gonna live? Are we gonna buy a van?
But see, what I think he did was you thought you went into, holy crap, this is too, like, it's overwhelming to think about that stuff mode. And I'm just saying, let's just talk about our aspirations. I mean, was I wrong?
I don't care.
Okay. Let's just talk about our aspirations for travel.
Right.
What could happen? What would we like to do?
So, to start off, I think that just to give us an idea of where we'll be in life 5 years from now, we'll probably have a kid. We'll have our first kid.
That was one of the first things you said.
We'll be working on our second every night. Sorry, guys. But yeah, so we'll be more in a family-minded mode, which is horrifying to me because honestly, I'm really enjoying this selfish life that I'm living of focusing on building what I want to build and having to worry about James, and that's it. But that will be a
hard enough to worry about you and the dog.
Oh geez, yeah. Like we don't We just keep him in a closet most of the time. But yeah, so that will be our personal life. Will we have a house? Probably not. Who
we'll probably.
Who needs houses these days?
We'll probably still be choosing some strange life path, and it'll probably be stranger than what we're doing now.
Yeah. Our kid's gonna be so messed up.
In the big realm of the world and in the realm of the internet, we're not doing something that terribly strange.
Right.
We have an apartment, but we did move across the country to a new place, which a lot of people do. It's all about your It's all about where you're coming from and your perspective.
Yeah.
But the goal with this is to get your blood pumping. If you're somebody who has an itch towards ambition, and perhaps you're maybe younger and you haven't really figured out how to actually do that and how to make that turn into real life.
Or if you're older and you have kind of gotten into your flow and your routine and stuff.
Oh, that too.
This is for everyone.
We're just going to throw stuff back and forth, and we want to get your aspirations a-flowing through your blood veins. So first off, we want to talk about our current horizon goals, the things that are tentative to happen in the near future.
I'm so excited to talk about this. So don't interrupt me. I'm going to get going.
Okay.
Unless you have anything that you want to talk about, photography.
I'm going to go play a city building game in the other room, and you just keep going.
Good deal. Guys, I am so excited about these next couple of months. James and I are on a trip right now as you're listening to this.
We're at our house, silly.
James, shut up. Gosh, they're going to know. So right now, while you're listening to this, of course, we recorded this a little bit beforehand, but while you're listening to this, we are out and about, traveling South Carolina at the moment, and then we will be shifting our way to Florida, and we will be in Florida because we're scouting a trip that, we want to include a bunch of you guys on, a bunch of you creator people, the people who are listening with their eardrums. And so that's the purpose of our Florida trip. We'll talk more in detail about it in 2 weeks from now, I think. But in summary, it's a creative expedition, a creative field trip where we just create all sorts of stuff, and then we just say creativity.
We're going to study igneous rocks for an entire week. We're going to go deep into the geodes and the biomasses of historical igneous plutoniums, and it's going to be a really rousing time, so I'm excited to do that with you.
The only thing that he said that was true was that it will be arousing, not sexually, creatively. Okay. So I'm excited for that. That's what's on the menu. That's what I'm working towards, and I want to do 2 this year. I haven't told James. One of them I want to be in Utah sometime around September.
Yes.
I believe there's a big YouTube event, and there'll be people flying out here anyway, so we'll do a little desert adventure. Say
Alaska, because that'd be a little more difficult to obtain in 1 year.
Not Alaska, but we could do, So Alaska and Florida. Just kidding. Utah and Florida.
Alaska, same thing.
Over the next year, what I want to focus on is building a creative community. That's what I'm working towards. So, I'm done speaking. What do you want to do, James?
Well, in a couple of days, we're going to a couple of different beaches very quickly because we're going to go to...
Not a couple days. While they're listening to this, we're there.
I'm sorry. We're
in Charleston right now.
It's just hard to do that math. I was just... Okay.
We're in Charleston right now, guys.
We're in Charleston right now. Yesterday, we were in my hometown, and then a couple of days before that, we were at the beach spending time with my side of the family, which was rousing, not arousing. There is a difference. And then over the next couple of days, we're going to be in Florida scouting said mission that Christina has spoken about. And then after that, what are our smaller goals? Do we have smaller travel goals at the moment? I know we want to get to California real soon because we actually haven't been there yet.
Yeah. California is definitely on the menu. The traffic is a real turnoff to me, which is honestly why I haven't headed down there.
I suppose it depends on where you go.
California is on the menu. We don't have a date for it yet. really my head is just focused on these big goals.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll do some desert excursions. I think James and I are speaking about leaving Utah in November for 3 months and doing God knows what. Those are some of the things that we've been thinking about.
Yeah.
In the more immediate future.
We've been having a lot of conversations about where we want to be at this time next year or in like 6 months. Like, what are we doing? What are we trying to pull off? We're not staying still because we're weird in this way that a lot of people I think aren't weird for some reason, where we get very antsy and shaky if we stay in one place for too long. Not one place physically, even though that plays a big role, one state of life. Like we love this apartment, for example, but it's like we
like to move around.
We're kind of like, okay, what's next? What are we doing? I think a lot of people get comfortable and they just kind of hang out in one spot for forever. But I think we can't. Our minds don't let us do that. Yeah, I don't know why.
No, I agree. So one of the things that I saw James wrote down in our notes is the Caribbean. Which, yes.
Yeah, we're trying to avoid next winter in Utah somehow, perhaps. And so we've been throwing around Arizona or the Caribbean.
Yeah, which is two polar opposites. We go from the desert to blue waters.
Right.
It's one of the tough things is we do have a dog. His name is Cooper, and he's fantastic, but he's a burden when it comes to traveling anywhere aside from a road trip.
Yes.
And we can't take the car to the Caribbean because that would mess up the car. We're planning a road trip to Hawaii sometime, but we're working out the logistics.
We could turn it into like a Wild Thornberries.
Yeah,
that was so freaking sick.
Yeah,
that show and the whole setup they had was rad.
Mm-hmm.
That would be like, if we're trying to talk about if we lived in a perfect world and we had all the money, that's something we would own, is a floating camper van with like zebra stripes on this. It was like weird leopard stripes or something on the side of it. They had like a rack on the roof,
dude.
They had a satellite on the roof. They
you changed your name to Nigel?
It didn't. I changed my name to Nigel Thornberry.
We get a chimpanzee.
My nose grows to 4 times the current size. It's cartoonishly huge. Yeah, we get a chimpanzee and a kid with some sort of mental disability.
What was his name? Dobby or
Dobby.
Not Dobby. But the chimpanzee, his name is Darwin, which was so ironic.
Yeah. What was his name?
I don't know.
Anyway,
he
was basically a monkey person, right?
Yeah, he was a monkey person, and then Darwin, the chimp, was the intelligent.
It's going to feel dated, but let's try on our evenings when we can't find stuff to watch to do a little bit of Wild Thornberries.
Dude, inspiration.
Right?
I'm so down.
Now, what's funny is if for a 15-year-old that's listening to this, it's kind of like we're talking about like Mickey Mouse probably.
Yeah, Mickey Mouse.
Isn't that crazy?
The Mickey Mouse Club?
No. Like Mickey, or like Tom and Jerry. Like
Tom and Jerry
old
is dope.
School. Because Wild Thornberries at this point is way old school.
Tom and Jerry's not that old school.
But Tom and Jerry's been on since like the 1850s.
There was no TV in the 1850s. What are you talking about?
It's been on a very long time.
Yeah.
Like, it's amazing how long some of those shows have been on.
Yeah. I think a better example is like MASH or something like that.
MASH. Oh, what an interesting shift of genre.
Well, that's the oldest thing that I could think of. I'm sure
the oldest thing that I could think of was MASH.
Okay. Anyway, so I'm down for
we're talking about World War II or something.
I'm down for the Caribbean. I think that would be so rad. But if I spend time in the Caribbean, I'm not going there for like 2 weeks. I want to go there for a couple months.
Right, and that's what we're considering. But the second we get into the logistics of that, it gets a little weird. It's like, what do we do? How do we figure that out? How do we make that work?
Well, really,
where do we stay?
The hardest thing would be to figure out where we would keep Cooper.
Yeah, and also like the culture around where we would be living
that's easy.
That's easy.
Yeah.
Who's our culture?
South Florida. That's basically the Caribbean, I guess.
So like a bunch of different cultures and some gangs and stuff.
Well, how do you think? Oh, that's offensive and so true.
Mostly true.
No, I think it would be easy.
I'm saying like what would be our, that's been one of the biggest issues for me is like, who do we, like if we go down to the Keys, we're not going to find people like us easily.
Do we really know where people like us are in Salt Lake City?
No, but we could probably find them a little bit easier than in the Keys.
We've been here for 3 years and we know where that is.
The only people I've seen in the Keys are rednecks.
I don't know what part of the Keys you've ever visited.
When we went to Key Largo.
Okay, Key Largo is not a good example.
We never went down to Key West.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's different, but
I feel like we're getting on a tangent.
No, I mean, I'm just talking about. We were talking about our goals going into the future, Christina.
Well, we've seen videos where people who aren't clearly not from the Bahamas make a community in the Bahamas. I think we could figure it out.
I think we'd have to go towards like the sailing community or something like that.
Let's get a boat.
Some traveling folk.
Done. Yeah. Easy.
Get a boat.
Yeah. Can you swim?
Yeah, I'm a wonderful swimmer.
Yeah, Cooper can swim.
Yeah.
Let's get a boat. All right, guys, we're getting a boat. Goodbye.
This was one of the most productive conversations we've ever had. So we'd have to sell that cello behind you for sure to get that boat. Oh, heavens. Wow. Okay, don't do that again. So now we're going to move into just like epic goals that we have for our lives in the future, things that would be interesting to do with our time in terms of traveling. And I want to start in America. What are your goals for America? Where do you want to go that we have not gone to yet?
I want to go to an airport and then leave. Okay, that's not true. I love America. America, USA, woo.
Oh, the libertous land.
I'd be down for some Hawaii.
Hawaii? Okay.
Yeah. Hawaii's got the oceans, got some mountains, got some greenery. It's humid. I'm down for Hawaii. Mm-hmm. Let's just move there.
So Hawaii. Okay. So what is it about Hawaii that gets you real?
I just explained all of it. We've got mountains. We've got ocean, mostly ocean. Mm-hmm. I'm down for it. A little bit of sharks. I could become friends with them. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hawaii seems like it's got what I need right now.
Hawaii is an incredibly diverse landscape. Mm-hmm. It has like all but one of the ecosystems of the world in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Which is insane. Mm-hmm. I think the only thing that it doesn't have is like the Arctic.
Yeah, but it does snow in Hawaii.
It's a crazy land.
Up in the...
Does it?
Yeah, there was like a higher elevation where it snowed last winter.
And so, yeah, and I agree. I want to go to Hawaii. I think it would be a really interesting place.
Can we move there?
I don't want to move there.
Why?
That's really far away from mainland America.
We don't need
so we can spend some time there.
We don't need mainland America.
It makes me nervous
there.
What
do you think is going to happen over there?
I don't think nothing's going to happen. Except, the volcano, the entire island might explode and kill us. But
true.
But
that's something to keep in mind.
Utah could explode and kill us. I mean, we're right next to Yellowstone. So if that goes off,
goodbye.
We're gonna turn into ash people. Mm-hmm. And by ash people, I mean we're gonna be nothing. But yeah, in Hawaii, we're already far enough away from
another 6 hours?
The people who I spent the first half of my life with, and so it's like Hawaii is way out there and way more time.
They'd probably visit us more often. Let's just say that.
But just in terms of visiting there and like the stuff that we would like to do there, I would love to explore some volcanoes. I would love to go to like Pipeline, see the waves in California. I want to see the big waves. Mm-hmm. One of the things,
but we have to time those properly because it's not like 100-foot waves all the time in California.
Sure.
First of all, it's not 100-foot waves ever, but it's not those massive waves all the time. We have to track the storms.
Right. I'm somebody who's attracted to extremes in life and in nature. That's why I love buildings so much. Mm-hmm. That's why I love waves so much. That's why I love mountains, tallest mountains in the world. And I still have those weird facts in my head about those. But so Hawaii, I think, has quite a few extremes, which are interesting. And there are some amazing, like the mountains and the exoticness of the mountains are really interesting to me. And I'm sure you can find a lot of different interesting creator groups
in Hawaii.
Yeah,
but they would be different kinds of creators. They'd be creators that like create their own food.
right.
That'd be so rad.
Yeah, and also they would be separated from, like, what's so interesting about our friends, the Sailing La Vagabond crew that we love to watch so much, is they are separated in a sense culturally from the hustle culture. And they work hard, and they make stuff, and they're keeping themselves occupied. They're not just chilling, but at the same time they have this. They don't always seem like if you like accidentally ran over their foot with a car, they'd be like, "That's all right.
It's all right. I got another one.
Happens.
Yeah,
happens. You know,
not it happens, just happens.
Happens.
I think we could do 3 years in Hawaii and kind of get it out of our system and be totally fine. Like, family's important.
That's a lot of years, but I
mean, 3 years here and it's felt like nothing. I'm not trying to live there forever.
Yeah.
Guys, it's expensive over there.
Yeah.
But a year.
Yeah.
We could do Hawaii for a year.
This is where our conversations make it to, because until we like decide to actually pull the trigger on something,
this is where
it's all kind of hypothetical, and it's like, what do we maybe?
This is where it starts, though. It's like
where it starts.
Hawaii.
And I think one of the goals with this episode of the podcast for me is just to get people out there thinking that this can actually happen in their lives.
Yes. Okay. So it can definitely happen in your life. We lived in South Carolina where things happen, but
I mean, it takes a lot of effort just to get through the trees there.
Yeah. It takes a lot of effort. Those
you
trees
gotta push a lot of limbs aside. One time I was riding a lawnmower and I almost broke my arm because I tried to push a limb aside and it just stopped going.
Yeah.
And my arm started to hurt and I went, I think I almost broke my arm. That's what that feels like.
South Carolina is pretty rowdy. But if you open your mind and say anything's possible, I mean, anything's possible. We moved to Utah, which doesn't sound like, that big of a deal, but it is. Like, we worked our butts off and we moved across the country.
Yeah.
So you can totally do it. If you guys want to live, let's say Greece. Greece is beautiful, beautiful waters. You can totally do it. It's easy. I say it's easy. It's hard, but it's easy. You just have to make a decision. It's
Time
a flight.
And steps.
It's a flight. It's a bus ride.
Yeah.
You want to take a bus ride to Greece? Do it. You're going to have to swim a little bit. You're going to have to swim a lot.
It's going to be a wet bus ride.
It's going to be a wet bus ride. But you can do it. So this episode is just to, like, I don't like people who are complacent. If you want to be my friend, don't be complacent. That sounds so mean. But complacency, I mean, some people are complacent and they're happy. But there's some people who are complacent and then they turn 85 years old after being 20. They go from 20, 21, 22, 85, and then they have all these regrets that they didn't move to Hawaii for 3 years. Or they didn't move to Alaska because they love being cold.
Well, it goes back to what we spoke about in the last episode. That
Serbia? Heck yeah.
Ooh, okay.
Get lit.
I haven't really thought about Serbia too much. That's interesting. It kind of gets back to what we spoke about in the last episode, which was obsession, and the fact that you are.
Oh my gosh!
It's easy to waste time in life. Our natural state is to waste time.
We didn't talk about this in the last episode.
Yeah, we did. We spoke about meaning, correct?
I don't think we ever said the word obsession. So we're going to talk about it in this episode.
Oh, well, okay. I'm sorry. Well, actually, what I was trying to say, I just filled it in with the word obsession, because that was another. Wait, yeah, we didn't talk about it in the last episode, did we?
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, sorry. Sometimes I'll get halfway through a thought and I'll go, I can't remember what I was going to say. What's another thing I could say? Obsession. Wasting time. It's easy to get complacent. A lot of people spend their entire lives in one spot. And if that's what you're up to, cool. But a lot of people have these goals that they never fulfill because they don't have the motor on them. And they waste time. And it's just be painfully, brutally aware of how life goes by quickly.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
That you can spend all of that time not doing the thing. You can push that thing off until you die.
Yeah.
Easily if you're not careful. So if you have a goal to go to New York City for the first time, or if you have a goal to go to Canada, go to Banff.
Oh, Canada.
That's another thing that I think we both want to go see is Banff. Or Europe, what have you. And you come from a family that has not left a 50-mile radius, that the 50-mile radius that you live in for the past 9 generations, doesn't mean you can't.
Yeah.
Figure it out, make it happen, and build a motor in yourself. Get obsessed, and you can do it step by step.
When we were thinking about moving to Utah, that's all that I thought about. Anytime that I was on the internet, I was looking for a way to move to Utah, and then we got here. And I think that's all it takes.
And you do, and it's funny because I normally consider myself to be the obsessed one, but as I think about it, you do get pretty obsessed, and it's kind of irritating. Whenever I talk to you, that's kind of what you end up talking about. Is like, hey, so this thing that's coming, I'm stressed out about it because you're trying to do something that's going to take a lot of work and kind of scares me a little bit. But that's all that's on your mind. And of course you're going to talk about it. If your arm is broken in half, you're going to talk about that a lot, right?
Yeah. That's why this trip has been all that I've been talking about.
Right.
And like our channel and videos, it's all because I obsess about it.
The hard thing, like one thing that's so weird about marriage is I have my own things, my own version of that I'm thinking about on a daily basis. But because I'm married to you, I have to learn how to be as excited as you about the things that you're excited about. And that's good. It's like a really good thing to have to learn how to do in life. That's one of the many wonderful things about marriage, but it's a sacrifice. It's a self-sacrificial element.
Thankfully, both of our obsessions kind of fall in line with each other.
I don't think I think we work well together. I just think it's on a daily basis. I think we can have a hard time with the intensity of the obsessions that we both have, you know? But I am dedicated to helping you accomplish the things you want to accomplish,
vice versa,
within
pal.
reason, right? Like I don't want to just do what you want to do. Obviously, I have my own. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh gosh.
Seriously.
Is that gonna come out of my paycheck? That moment right there.
What the heck is wrong with you?
That really pushed us off in terms of attention, and like everybody else is gonna be like, oh man,
these guys aren't legit.
I'm so distracted by that notification.
Unsubscribe.
Sorry.
And then resubscribe. And if you're not subscribed already, then subscribe.
Every listener today gets a hug
from yourself.
So we have to serve both of us in the marriage, and it's like the fun thing is figuring out how to do that all at the same time. You know what I mean?
That gets pretty overwhelming, but thankfully both of our paths sort of line up.
Yeah.
Dude, we're moving to Hawaii. I feel it right now. Dude, 6 months from now, we need to figure out what to do with all of our plants. We could totally... I'm doing research. I don't even think you're into it.
And it begins.
I don't even think you're into it, but we're doing it.
I like I said, I am into the idea of Hawaii. I am
not
very
long-term.
timid to live in Hawaii.
All right. That's where it starts.
Like 6 months is much less scary to me. Well, I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
That's like, okay, maybe, you know.
Yeah.
But
we'll just scratch the
I'm
surface.
like an in and out kind of guy. I like to pick my home base, and then I like to go to a place, and then I'm sorry, I'm not an in and I'm an in and out on a daily basis. But there are certain times where I am okay with the idea, because we've spoken about going to the Caribbean. I am okay with the idea of spending some more time.
How are we gonna get Cooper over there?
Good question. But that's for another podcast.
Yeah. Okay. So where else do you want to go? Because that's really the top of my list. I mean, Alaska would be cool.
I have a couple places.
But I don't want to go anywhere where I'm cold and where I can't swim. So that's kind of it. I don't want to move back to Florida because that seems overwhelming. So I don't want to move to California because
Yeah. No, that's something we both agree on, is we really have no desire to move to California at all. which
sorry to you Californians. A lot of people that listen to this podcast are actually from California, and shout out to you guys. Tweet me. I want to see some action on Twitter. What makes you guys want to live in California? And convince us to move out there.
Good weather.
Great weather.
So I have a couple of places. There are a couple of places that are north and northwest of here. So within that, I'm holding up my hands like a clock right now.
Okay.
So one of my hands is on 12, one of my hands is on 9. And from here, I want to go all around in that direction. Mm-hmm. I want to go to Alaska, see glaciers, Mount Denali, which is the tallest mountain from
base. Signing she. Okay,
that's
next.
where the song came from base to summit, which is very exciting. And once again, I'm really into extremes. I want to go visit. There's this huge area of Idaho and Washington where they say a giant flood happened 12,000 years ago, and all the scars of that are still there. And I've learned cool. about those. I've spent hours and hours and hours learning about that, and it would be so cool to see that in person. There's a waterfall, an extinct waterfall that's left its mark, and the waterfall is like, but it's like 2 to 4 times as tall as Niagara Falls, and much bigger. Sweet. Like just huge waterfall.
Yeah. I bet we could. Hold on, that's in Idaho or Washington?
That's in Washington.
Dang it, because we're anyway.
Called Dry Falls. You guys can
Dry Falls. We have some friends that live in Washington, and I think it would be fun to do an excursion with them. I also want to do the Olympic Peninsula.
Okay.
Gosh, speaking words is so hard.
So all that we need to plan a trip in that
to
Washington.
Area. I want to go to Washington before I go to the other one.
Because I want to see Mount St. Helens. 2, Mount Hood and Crater.
That's not in Washington.
I'm just saying that area.
You want to go Pacific Northwest.
I'm holding up the hands again. That whole area, right? So Oregon, really, for that first bit with the volcanoes and such. And then, but like, going into the flood areas, like they have these giant ripples left over from the floods that are just enormous.
Dude, you guys want to ask James some flood information? He will get so rowdy.
I can have an Ice Age flood conversation. Yeah. But yeah, like all that whole area.
He also thinks the earth is flat, so get him on that.
Yeah, well, the truth shall set ye free.
This table is not rolling, so that's a joke. Exactly. By the way, guys, if you think the earth is flat.
If the earth was round, wouldn't we all be falling over?
Yeah.
So, think about it. So all of that's good. I want to go, just there's a lot of fun stuff in Washington. And then, like I said, Alaska, I've never seen a real glacier. And I want to see glaciers. And there are huge glaciers all around the world that I would love to visit.
Like glacier number 1.
We did 1.
And glacier number 2.
2. And then, I like 13.
13? There's 13 glaciers?
13's fun. Probably, yeah.
What about glacier number 4?
That one's okay, but it's kind of dirty.
Yeah, well, that's because of global warming, guys. And you know what? If you're using plastic, you're the devil.
Yep.
You
deserve to be thrown in a fire.
That went way too far, way too quick.
So,
sorry, guys. I don't mean to be offensive, but if I am.
I hope you get in a car crash and die.
No, that's so sad.
If you use plastic, I hope you get in a car crash and die.
Stop.
Is that plastic you're holding right there?
No.
There's got to be some plastic in these phones, right?
Yeah,
we're
sure.
Screwed.
Ooh.
Dang it.
We're the problem.
Yeah, all of that. I want to go, I'd love to go to the northernmost part of the United States, that town up at the top, Wendover. No, it's not Wendover. It was made by, there's a YouTube channel called Wendover Productions. He made a video about that town.
Yeah.
I forget what the name of the town is.
I will let you go there by yourself because your girl's not out here trying to be cold, and it's cold. Yeah. There's coldness out there.
All of that looks fun.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
and then I want to move on to.
Let's get out of the country.
So Christina.
Yes.
Europe. Where do you want to go in Europe?
So
what excites you?
Iceland is part of Europe.
Of course.
I think that'd be fun.
Yes.
All of the typical Instagram spots. Let's go there. Definitely England.
I love waterfalls.
I've got some people out there that I want to meet. And I've got some friends out there that I'd like to hang out with as well. So England's definitely on the list. I keep putting it off. I keep saying like, oh yeah, next August. But I definitely want to make the United Kingdom happen. When I say hey to the Queen, she's a nice gal. I heard she likes dogs, corgis in specific. So, Queen Elizabeth.
We'll get one
Liz.
at the general store.
Is that offensive to call her Liz? I'm not English. Well, crap. Never mind. I should know the proper procedures. Anyway, I want to
Depends on if she wants to be called Liz.
Lizzie.
Lasagna.
Princess Lasagna.
Lizzie, lasagna. What's up?
Yeah, so England would definitely be rad.
Yeah.
Spain, the Mediterranean. I'm down for it. So down for the Mediterranean.
Because the waters and the blueness and
Heck,
you can dive. Probably that's probably fun, right?
Totes, my goats.
I like to go see Greece. I like to go see the blue waters against the white buildings on the cliffs. That's kind of fun.
Yeah, so all of the typical Instagram spots, but I want to go to those Instagram spots like 5 years after the fact when they're not popular. I want to go to these places when they're not popular.
Yeah.
So, and then moving across moving across Europe, I don't really have an extensive urge to visit places like Switzerland or anywhere like that because it's cold, but I know you do. They've got amazing mountains. I heard they have great watches. And army knives.
Army knives, yes.
Yeah. So I really want to check out the army knives down there in Switzerland. I heard they're like all the rage.
Yeah. I think you have to fight a dragon to get an army knife.
Yeah.
Like the real ones.
Like a Swiss army knife is what we're referring to.
Right.
In case you guys don't have a good sense of humor.
Right. It's an army knife made by the Swiss for the Swiss.
And only the Swiss, unless you fight a dragon.
Yes, unless you fight a dragon, and a few people who are not Swiss have conquered the dragon, but you have to find their off button. It's like near the base of their spine. It's like a little button. It's like an arcade button.
Yeah. Boop. Boop. And then the dragon goes down.
But there's a waterfall in Switzerland, and it was the one I was showing you the other day, and it's a giant waterfall that is like you can see it from town. It's falling off a cliff. Okay. Remember me showing you that the other day?
Probably when the snow melt is
and I'm going to pronounce this wrong, but Staubach Falls, Bernese Overhand, Switzerland.
Okay.
And it's like this beautiful town with European architecture.
We have a lot.
This lovely, huge waterfall that you can see from town at all times.
We have a good bit of European listeners. I see that there's a Norway on your list.
Have you guys been there before? Is it nice?
Yes.
Is it worth going? Yeah, I was going to say there's another waterfall in Norway, which I'm really interested in, that it flows down the side of a mountain. And I remember seeing it one time, and it was a water, like I know a lot about different waterfalls. I had never seen this waterfall before, and it blew my mind. And it's 2,000 feet tall, which, to give you like perspective, the Freedom Tower is 1,792 feet tall.
Right.
So the waterfall,
right.
really tall. That's a really beautiful thing. I would love to see that, and there's a lot of beautiful jagged mountains and stuff. And
right.
I'm sure we can find some wonderful craters.
Just so you know, that's not in Africa. That country right there. So don't say that is in Africa, because you will sound very ignorant. No, it's not. It's in the Middle East. Oh, crap. Now you guys are going to know. James thinks Dubai is in Africa, guys.
Dubai.
It's United Arab Emirates.
I always put Dubai on the west coast of Africa in my mind. I don't know why, because I remember we saw it the other day, and I was like, crap. That's not where I thought it was.
I have family in Dubai.
Yeah.
How do you not know where Dubai is?
Yeah.
Get it together.
So in the Middle East, so technically it would be in Asia? Right?
I guess so, yeah.
And I don't do that with many countries. I know my geography, but Dubai, for whatever reason, I put it on the west coast of Africa in my head. Very strange.
That's really weird.
Yeah.
You'd have to point out to me which country you think is Dubai.
Just the location.
You'd have to point out which location.
I picture the center of Africa on the left side.
The center.
That's where I put Dubai in my head.
The center of Africa on the left side. So like the Ivory Coast?
Perhaps. I'm not sure exactly what's there. I know that you have Somalia on the east coast.
Okay.
And Somalia is, I think, on the same latitudinal level as where I think Dubai would have been in my hypothetical world.
All right. So let's go to Africa.
So thanks for pointing that out, Christina.
Yeah. So James wants to go to Dubai, which we could totally make happen. That's actually something that we can do
very easily.
While we're I'm dead serious. While we're escaping winter, we can spend a couple weeks in Dubai with Tati.
Yeah.
That would be so rad.
Yeah.
Like
Christina
after Christmas.
has family all around the world, so that helps us out.
It totally helps. Yeah.
And your family is a family of people who aren't scared to travel too, which I think helps your drive.
Yeah. I think some of my family is definitely that type of travel.
They like to stay places or they like to go places?
I can only think of one family member that really goes places.
Oh, okay.
That's my aunt.
Well, let's put it this way.
On my mom's
your family
side.
has scattered themselves
upon
the globe.
My family's not afraid to put roots down in different places.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Which is rad. We have family in Canada, Japan. I don't want to list off the places, but yeah.
So in Africa, I would love to go to Kenya. I'd love to
Kenya seems rad.
I'd love to see all of the wildlife. I'd love to. I don't know if Mount Kilimanjaro is in Kenya. Is it? I'd love to see Mount Kilimanjaro because that looks ridiculous.
How can we?
And I would love to, see all sorts of. I'd love to engage with cultures that I've never.
Tanzania. It's in Tanzania.
Actually spent time like around them on a daily basis. I've obviously learned about them, but it would be really, really interesting to see these different types of people in the flesh and how they live their life. And so I'd love to do that. I'd love to go to South Africa. That whole area seems really beautiful, and I'll just see what the hype is about South Africa because a lot of people really love South Africa.
Yeah.
A lot of people say they're like, they'll visit it and they'll be like, this is the best place I've ever been. It looks like a really fun place to be.
I think Morocco would be fun to visit.
Morocco would be cool because they have a lot of really interesting architecture in certain parts of Morocco.
Got a lot of interesting culture over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely Tanzania, Kenya, South Africa. Those are on my list. More of the tropical regions of, not tropical, tropical in terms of like rainforest kind of parts of Africa. I think would be rad. Want to hang out with
and I'm not. I'm
the apes.
90% sure of this. I think they filmed my favorite movie, Black Hawk Down, in Morocco.
Oh, okay.
It was supposed to be based in like the movie. It's about something that happened in Mogadishu, Somalia, but they filmed it in Morocco because it's kind of hard to film a movie in Somalia with the current climate of things. But so that's fun. I really want to go. If we go into Asia, I'd love to go to Nepal, see the Himalayas.
Once again, that's something that I want to do not in the next 2 years because it's so touristy over there right now.
5 years, Christina.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks, James.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to, like, maybe 7 years from now. Like, do you want to go to base camp?
I'd like to see Mount Everest from a distance.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
I'm not trying. Do you want to do like the whole trek?
Base camp is interesting to me, but I'm
think
a little scared of like the journey. I think to base camp, maybe is base camp the place you can take a bus?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so. But I will say,
because there was somewhere I was hearing that you could like, it's really easy to get to, and then obviously you have to go over the glacier to get to.
Maybe that is base camp. That's like base camp.
That's where
like the base camp.
That's where it gets dangerous.
I think I'll enjoy that mountain just as good from afar. I don't think I need to do like the whole 8-day.
I just want to get a good view of it, get a nice photo.
Yeah,
that's all.
Sweet.
Hang out with some Nepalese because they seem like lovely, fine people.
They do seem very nice. I actually just edited a video for a YouTube creator. She went to Nepal and she did the whole base camp trek with some kind of yoga retreat, and it was really, really rad. So,
and they are super people when it comes to altitude.
Yeah.
They're the people who guide us weak folk up the mountain, up, and they're the people who go in and rescue climbers when they get stuck up there. They are so well adjusted to living at a high altitude that it's easier for them.
So we're in Asia. Let's go to Western Asia.
Oh.
Definitely want to take you over to Taipei, Taiwan.
I hear
everywhere,
like
everywhere.
Drum, like ethnic drum music playing behind us as we're saying this right now, and I'd see a map overlay on your face.
So stupid. So yeah, definitely want to take you to Taiwan.
Yes.
Because it was so beautiful there, and it was so lush and humid, and yes.
Go see my favorite building.
Taipei 101, which was a very rad building. I saw it 2-3 weeks ago. Very nice. I did not go in, and I did not touch it. I went to the grounds. I was going to touch it, and I said, nope, I will only touch it when I'm with James.
Aw.
Yeah, I didn't go inside.
Let's make out right now.
Let's not. Let's finish this podcast, and then...
And then there was a place outside of the main part.
Yes.
It's called something else, and then it's also called the Taipei Port or something of this sort.
No, it's a port city. So it's spelled Keelong, but I believe it's pronounced Geelong.
Okay.
So I want to go there next time we go.
Looks like a cool spot.
Yeah, that looks pretty rad. So definitely want to go over there. Of course, Bali, French Polynesia, the whole squad.
Whole squad.
But of course, I want to go there when it's not so touristy because everyone's over there right now taking their bangers with their butts on the beach. And I just want to go experience the culture over there. And then we make our way back to Hawaii. But wait, we forgot one whole continent.
Did you just like throw in the fact that we're living in Hawaii at this point?
Yeah.
You're so cheeky.
So, Australia.
Yes.
So,
Australia. I want to go to New Zealand, see the landscape there because it's pretty ridiculous, and I don't really care about like the Hobbit town or anything like that, but yeah, just seeing all the bizarre landscape that is in New Zealand, and then of course in Australia, love to go to Sydney, see the Opera House, and then meet up. Probably, I'm sure we could find some pretty rad creators around there.
Yeah.
That we could connect with.
I have family over there as well.
Family.
Let's plan a trip to Australia.
And
really
we have
quick.
to go to the center part.
No, we'll go all around.
That's what I'm saying, but we have to like instead of just staying in the cities, we have to go to like
all around
the actual where you get kicked by a kangaroo,
down
Christina,
under,
where the spiders get in your shoe if you're not careful.
So let's plan a trip to. This is how Christina would plan a trip to Australia. Let's do it.
Let's go.
So we first talk about it. We get all stoked. We go.
You blow up your dinghy.
You blow up your dinghy, and you put some gas in it, and you just go, and you hope for the best. And when you run out of gas, you start to swim. So planning a trip to Australia, I would contact anyone that I know. So if you don't have family there, contact creators that you follow on Instagram. Hey, like try to connect with the locals. It doesn't have to be like the biggest person, but it could just be somebody that you see with a rad Instagram. Use hashtags to connect with human beings, follow them for 6 months, send them a DM, become friends, and then now you have a contact in Australia. Super fun. If you guys become good enough friends, you can probably stay at their house, but you don't want to take it that far. So just become friends with them and go on a couple adventures with these new friends.
Yes.
The internet has made the world so small. You can make friends literally every single place you can make friends.
And
oh wait, we did actually forget South America. Sorry guys. But we're still talking about.
We're just jumping to Australia, and then we can come back if we want to.
We'll talk about Australia.
It's easy to forget about South America, and I feel bad about that.
It's not that. It's a gigantic country.
Well, I forgot it. Oh my gosh. I forgot it.
Stop. It's a gigantic continent. Freaking hell.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, let's just talk about Australia.
Africa is the greatest country in the world.
So connect with creators.
Yeah.
Find dates that work for you. For us, we would probably go there sometime around our winter because Australia is in the southern hemisphere, which is rad because we could just do summer year round if we spend 6 months in the States and then 6 months in Australia. That would be kind of the way to do it.
And there's some glaciers in New Zealand, I believe.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
So we have to hop over there too.
Yeah. While we're there, we probably do the whole thing. I would search around for flights for rather inexpensive flights. But one thing that I learned on my last cross seas flight was I think it's probably worth it to get the nicer seats. I don't know the price discrepancy, but I do know that I got a very good night's sleep.
Now, let me ask you this. Has this opinion changed after your first trans-Pacific trip? Or what did you always think?
No,
hey, if we're going across the sea, we're going to be on the plane for 14 hours. Like, let's make sure it's a nice experience.
No, my thoughts changed. I am a cheap human being, and I want to save money in every corner. But when you're sitting down for 14 hours, it is very nice to, like, if you can afford it, save an extra 3 months worth of savings to afford the nicer seats. You don't have to go super luxury, but definitely.
See, you went from be a sardine and tough it out to first class.
Not first class, second class.
I want that, dude.
Because
the beds that lay out. And,
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Because it gets pretty cramped.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this happened in like the coach, because when I flew out to Taipei, I was working with a big company, so they had a budget and they can afford to get me a nice seat. I don't know if they gave the people in coach ice cream, but they gave me ice cream.
Oh my gosh.
And that was like the best moment of my life.
Wow.
They gave me ice cream.
Wow.
I was jamming.
What kind of flavor was it?
It was like a chocolate, which I don't usually love chocolate ice cream, but that one was banging.
How? 1 to 10.
10 being the best ice cream in the world.
Yeah.
I would say probably a solid 8.
What's the best ice cream that you've had? Because we've been to quite a few ice cream places. Is it in Salt Lake City?
I don't think I can speak to that in public.
Why?
Because I don't want to.
You don't want to? Do you have affiliations?
No, but I love ice cream all the same.
Oh, so you just want to respect all ice cream for who they are?
I want to respect all ice cream.
My best ice cream I say is probably from Monkey Wrench.
Okay.
In Salt Lake City.
Yeah, I think all ice cream has their unique personalities, and they are worth it in every way, shape, or form.
McDonald's has put some sort of cocaine in their ice cream to make it so soft. I've never had ice cream as soft as McDonald's ice cream.
That's because they use like motor oil to loosen things up. So South America would be cool. Let's dig in. I wanted to go like South America.
Wait, but quickly on the Australia thing, because I wanted, I did want to make sure we really ran over violently the roadblock, the traffic cone of planning a trip to Australia. And a lot of people would love to go to Australia. And so what would be your first like 3 steps?
Keep an eye on flights.
Okay, so just watch flights.
Yeah.
Okay.
Watch flights and have an idea of how much it's going to be, and then just save. Do I have to come up with one more step?
Saving is the hard part.
Saving is the hard part because it takes a lot of time. Mm-hmm. And then the third thing is just connect with people.
And maybe like don't buy so many dinners for yourself or lunches. Maybe don't buy so much candy. Maybe save your money. Okay. And then
I feel attacked.
3. No, I'm speaking to, I'm not attacking you. I'm attacking the general public.
Okay. Cool.
I'm attacking myself, if anybody.
Yeah.
So yeah, save your money well. And then what about accommodations? Like, how would you organize that?
I have no idea. I have a friend that I just recently met, and he was telling me about hostels, and he said, stay in hostels. And I was like, I don't know about that. That doesn't seem very safe. And he's like, no, hostels are not places for like homeless people. It's places for travelers, and you get to meet new travelers, and you get to make new friends and that kind of thing. So I would originally say like stay at an Airbnb or a hotel. I love staying at hotels. But hostels, I think we might need to start playing around with that and, meet some new people.
Or you could stay in the outback in a kangaroo's pouch.
Do 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 do.
That song sounds Australian. Like, it sounds very Australian. But is that...
What does that mean?
Right, exactly. Is that an Americanized depiction of what an Australian song would sound like?
I think it's an Australian artist.
Right, but I'm saying like it's got an Australian feel to it.
I feel like if an Australian made the song,
like it's
I feel like if an Australian made the song, then it's not an American depiction.
Well, my point is an Australian can sing a song that sounds like a general pop song. Let's say, I don't know, Ed Sheeran was Australian. He could sing a song and it would sound like a normal song. That song has like an Australian vibe to it. It makes you feel like you're walking down a dirt path, looking at dingoes in the distance.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, running away from drop bears.
Right, running away from drop bears.
Dude, listening to Americans talk about Australia is the most hilarious thing. My uncle posted a picture on Instagram of a golden retriever like facing off with a kangaroo. I believe the kangaroo was like on the other side of the fence, but his caption was like, "This is the most Australian thing like I've ever seen," or something like that, which is hilarious because kangaroos.
Oh, it was an Australian Shepherd. The dog?
No, it was a golden retriever.
Why was it the most Australian thing that you've ever seen?
Because it's a dog and a kangaroo.
Why was that? Why is that really Australian?
I don't know, James.
I mean, the kangaroo is Australian, but the dog is like just a dog. So I'm just trying to understand the joke.
Well, you ruined it. So can we go to South America before we end this podcast?
Yes, let's go to South America. And where would you like to go in South America, Christina? I haven't thought too much about this one. And also, for everybody who is a listener and or a watcher, let us know, because I routinely interact with people from South America who follow me. And I would love to know places that you think are really interesting, because I know South America has a diversity of really crazy landscapes.
Mm-hmm. Well, so I've been to Central America, Guatemala. It was very nice over there. I think, Venezuela.
You want to go to Venezuela?
Just kidding.
That would actually make me nervous.
Maybe in a couple of years when they get things figured out.
Things calm down a little bit.
When things calm down. Chile.
Lots of great people there, I'm sure.
Chile would be nice. Mm-hmm. We can go to Brazil. We can go to Belize. Belize seems really rad.
Yeah.
I'm down for some Belize.
That's where they have a great blue hole there. That would be really fun.
Way down south. Is like these really remote islands with penguins and stuff.
Ooh, penguins.
Yeah, I think it would be cool to go to that remote island.
I see one thing that I think is so interesting about South America is it's an example of a couple of, it's one of the few places in the world where I know so little about a lot of the places that are there, and just a lot of the vast landscape that's there. It's kind of like northern Russia. Like I know almost nothing about what's going on up
That's
there.
how it was a lot with Asia.
Right. And so that to me is that's something that's incredibly fascinating, is to think about what could be down there. Like I don't know what is below probably the halfway point of South America. And I'd love to go all the way down to the bottom, or like see the rainforest and that sort of thing. That would be really fun.
You know, all the way in the bottom of South America, can you guess what temperature it is, like typically?
It's closer to closer to Antarctica, obviously.
Okay.
So
you kind of answered the question. It's
going to be colder.
Yeah. But you would think South America, you always think warm weather.
You think warm, right? Because it goes over the equator.
So I think South America would be pretty rad.
Oh, wow. Interesting. I'm going to have to look stuff up about this, because the tallest waterfall in the world is in South America, so that's exciting. I would love to see that.
Yeah, it's called Tall McTall and it's so tall.
It is, and that's not what the locals call it. No, I'm sorry. That is what the locals call it. The world doesn't call it that.
Yeah, what does the world call it?
Angel Falls.
The tallest waterfall in the world.
The tallest waterfall in the world.
Yeah. Also known as Tall McTall.
That was narrated by David Attenborough.
Yes. Guys, James, whenever we play...
It's a famous clip.
What's that game?
Planet Earth.
It's a game like charades, where basically you have to guess what the name on the card is, and James always writes David Attenborough, and nobody knows who that is. But every single time they go like, he's a...
yeah, I did that.
It's like
I did that.
David Attenborough. They're like, how did you know? Because I know my
that's
husband.
One issue with my humor is I think when I play games like that, people are like, I don't even know who this is.
Yeah.
I just put random names, but I think it would be so hilarious.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to play the game, to be honest.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, well, we'd love to hear suggestions of... Oh, I was gonna say that... one of your major purposes with traveling is to connect with the community.
Yes.
In different places. Make sure that's a big part. Now, what's interesting is when it comes to traveling, when I think about what my big goals are, that is also mine. But mine's a little bit different. My version of that is a little bit different. I want to find other Christina's making a face like she's high as a kite right now.
I'm not. I'm just trying to pay attention to what you're saying.
Whoa. Can you just say whoa for me?
Whoa. Guys, don't do drugs. Okay, so community.
Yeah, so I want to stop. This is like when I look past you. I'll have conversations with Christina, and when I talk to her, I'll look past her instead of looking in her eyes, and I'll just pretend like nothing's wrong. It's a lot of fun.
Our inside jokes aren't funny to other people. Remember that.
So I want to go on, if I can't look at you, I want to go on, I want to be able to go on like photo walks because I'm engaging with more photo walks for my personal channel where I put a GoPro on my chest and I go take photos. If you're interested in that, my name is James Redd.
My name's Jeff.
My name Jeff. And I love the idea of going on photo walks with other photographers that I think are interesting.
Yes.
Incorporating them and making videos with them, a little bit about them, going on journeys with them, and like talk about their creative process with them. And that's one of the things about traveling is that we can go to places where we find these other people in, England. And they're always, whenever people reach out to me and I have little chats with them, they're always like, if you're ever in this area, I can help you out. And it's cool because I can collect those people over time. And then once I go there, I can actually go hang out with them.
Right. Exactly.
And I'm excited about that. That's one of the purposes I have for traveling other than just seeing pretty stuff.
Creative community, because it's not, honestly, traveling is great, but it gets kind of boring when it's just you and your significant other, in my opinion. Me being an extrovert, I need more people than just James. So
friendship is the thing that really makes traveling come alive.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think I'm really stoked on building more community around creativity. Oh my gosh. It's usually at this point in the podcast where I go, I don't care about anything that we're saying anymore. Can we stop?
You know what pisses me off though?
You know what burns my bridges? You know what frays my cords? You know what's an 1/8 inch to my 1/4 inch?
You know what flips my ankle upside down?
You know what fractures my hip?
You know what chops my horse's head off?
You know what really gives me arthritis?
You know what kills my Abraham Lincoln?
James, too soon.
Call back.
Okay, what is it?
People who are like...
James hates people. Cool.
You like say, man, I'd love to go there. And then they're like, oh yeah, that's a great place. Been there.
Why does that bother you?
These people who've just been everywhere. Like it's just nothing for them.
Okay.
Evidently, they're so pretentious.
Evidently, James doesn't like my father.
They've been to Japan, and they've been to Australia, and they've been to Africa. They've just been everywhere you mentioned. There's no new place. Or like somebody who's like, you mention a new piece of information to them, and they're
James,
like, oh yeah, of course. Of course I know that.
That's literally who we are.
Of course I know that about the 13th president.
Oh, you want to go to Taipei? Been there, done that, got a t-shirt.com.
Yeah, those people are idiots. All right, thanks for listening and or watching, guys. Please leave a review and a ration on the podcast. If you leave a review, just say what is it about our podcast that is uniquely interesting to you guys. And please engage with us on Instagram and Twitter. You can find me at James the Red. You can find Christina at Christina Red.
Ooh. On
both the Twitters and the Instagrizzles. And I hope you guys have a pleasant eve.
Get out there and travel, fam.
Good noon.
Or if you're not into traveling, do something else that you're interested in. The point is, expand your mind. Okay?
All right, we'll give you guys an update on Abe soon.
Oh, geez, James.
Bye.
Bye.